It's not how I wanted it to be. I got what I wanted and it's not what I expected it to be. Is it worth going back to what it was before? Hey peeps, I'm Rick Roberts, and this is Rick Roberts Life, the podcast where we talk about my faith, my thoughts, my life. And today is Thursday Thoughts, and my thought for you today is, have you ever got what you wanted and you still weren't happy? Sometimes in life we work so hard to try to get the promotion, to get the opportunity, to actually get that actual thing in our life. And once we have it, we feel like we're still not happy, like we're still not satisfied with what we have in our life. And let me, give you an idea of why I think that is. I think that when we are looking for this thing and we're imagining it in our heads of what it's going to be like to have this in our life, we put too much expectation on it. As you put an expectation on something, you start to imagine that it's going to be this when it's really that. Reality always reshapes what we imagine. And so no matter how good you think it's going to be, no matter how amazing it's supposed to be, when reality creeps in and hits it, it shifts from what we think it's going to be to what it actually is. And so that goes for relationships, it goes for job, education, money, things, whatever you expect it to be, it's not going to live up to what you imagine it to be typically. Now, that's why I stopped watching movie trailers, because the movie trailer always overhype up the movie. In fact, it feels like you've seen a movie before you even went to go see the movie, because it gives you all the good bits. And when you watch it, you leave feeling saying, oh, that's it? Oh, it was better in the trailers. I thought it was gonna be this, but it was that. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, when you put your own ideas and thoughts to it, your expectation level rises, and things seldomly live up to our expectation. Even if it's here, you're gonna look at that gap and say, oh, it's different than what I thought it would be. And most of us tend to hang on to the part that's different instead of on the parts that are good for what we wanted. Also, when it comes to relationships, you have to keep in mind that there's a human element there. The other person has their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own expectations, and they're doing the exact same thing that you're doing, where you're putting your own standards and thoughts on the relationship. And so as you guys learn to navigate these waters together, and you guys start to manage each other's expectations and come into reality, then you're able to build a true, solid relationship. But until you do that, you're walking on a very dangerous cloud. And so keep in mind, you might be fighting now. You might be thinking, oh, this person is not who I thought they were. It's because they're an ideal inside your head. This is your imagination, and you're meeting the real person. You're going to have to figure out how to restructure your relationship with reality instead of on the dreams of what you thought it was going to be. Same thing with this job. You worked so hard to get this job, and you find that there's more responsibilities. You find out there's more phantom hidden difficulties that you didn't even know existed. And as you come into this job and as you do the job, you start to wonder, is it worth all this stress that I didn't know was coming into being for this job? And so as you ask yourself this question, I want you to be real and think, it's not how I wanted it to be. I got what I wanted and it's not what I expected it to be. Is it worth going back to what it was before? I know some of you are thinking, well, if I go back to what I had before, it's embarrassing. If I downsize my house, if I downsize my car, if I move back to my local area, if I get out of this job and try to go back to the other, job that I had, get out of this position and go to a lower position, will I be happy? Here's the thing. You need to understand your values. You need to understand what is important to you. And as you understand what's important to you, as you understand why you live in this world today, it will make it easier for you to be able to readjust and pivot when you get something that you wanted and it's not what you expected. The other thing I want you to focus on when you get what you wanted and you're still not happy is that maybe you paid a cost that you weren't expecting to pay. The cost was too dear for you to get what you got. Some people work so hard to try to get this promotion, to try to get this education, to try to be able to go somewhere, to get this certain opportunity, and they sacrifice their relationships. or they try to get the relationship and they sacrifice something else for it. And if you found that you made that mistake and you've paid too high a cost, it's okay. We've been there. We've all done this to an extent. You are not alone. You are living your life. You're not living my life. You're not living your parents' life. You're living your life. And you need to take a second, breathe, and find out what's important to you. What is the gift that you have been given? What is the reason why you feel you were placed here? And you need to live inside of that. As you live inside of that, as you work hard and develop the skills to be able to do what you believe is your thing, you will then be more free. The only thing I want to try to say be careful of is with relationships. If you thought that when you got married it was going to be this and you find out that it's that, I want you to not just scrap the marriage. Don't just say, oh, okay, I thought it was going to be this, it's not this, I'm not happy. What I want you to do is I want you to make it work. In relationships, it's different than jobs, it's different than tasks. It's two people coming together to be one. And as you work out how to be one team, there's going to be a lot of give and take. There's going to be a lot of struggle at the beginning. And as you get used to understanding each other's language, each other's focus, each other's values, you'll then be able to move forward a lot easier. Now, it will continue to be a constant back and forth. It'll be a constant growing together to be able to understand how this team is going to be. Because it's no longer just you, it's no longer just them, it's us. And so relationships is different than jobs, it's different than things, it's different than tasks. Marriages are unique, they are important, and you have to work together to build the team. So like I said, you work so hard to get this, but you are still not happy. Look and see, did you pay too high of a cost? Did you have too high of expectations? Sometimes we think that when we get this, it's going to solve another problem. And when we get it, the problem's still there. And when that happens, we looked for the wrong solution. And so what I want you to do is I want you to truly look at the problem again. Really look at the problem and really try to figure out what will solve this problem. Sometimes we try to hide from the problem by putting stuff and people there when the truth of the matter is we need to sort ourselves out. We can't keep hiding from the problem. We need to step up and solve the problem by living in the truth instead of hiding in fear. Sometimes we do that. I've done that. I know what it's like to do that, and I don't want to do that any longer. In your fear and realize that sometimes we look for the wrong things to solve this problem when the real thing that can solve this problem is inside. You need to look at yourself and look at what you're placing to try to solve this problem. And like I said, as you look inside and you realize that you need to step up and stop trying to place your wife, your husband, your children, your job, your money, your stuff to solve this problem, and you realize that you need to change on the inside, then this problem here will fade away. Sometimes we work so hard to gain the whole world and we lose our soul. Be careful what you pay to get the thing that you want, because sometimes just because you get the thing that you want doesn't mean that the problem's going to go away. And then all you've done is sold out and gained something that's useless, something that will fade away, something that will rust, something that will lose its value and become worthless. You are priceless. You are precious. The people in your life that matter most to you, you will not always have this time with them. So make the most of the time you have, because time is passing by. Your kids are getting older. People will be moving on to different stages and different phases of their life. And you're not guaranteed to have these same people around you in 10 to 15, 20 years' time. So make sure you're not paying too high of a cost for something that really doesn't matter. keep your head up and keep moving forward. I'm Rick Roberts, and you stay classy. Bye.